Assalamu alaikum, Year 4 students. How are you today? My name is Miss Jahina and I'm the school's laboratory technician, and welcome to STEM Week. I was hoping for everybody to be here during STEM Week, but unfortunately due to the lockdowns, we can't do that. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do an experiment for you all to watch at home. This experiment is very useful for us in the lab. It's called a flame test. And why we call it a flame test is sometimes that if we don't know what a chemical is, and we want to try and figure out what this chemical is, the first thing that we do out of all these processes to figure out what it is, we burn it off to see what color it becomes. Okay, so what I have here in front of me, I've got this Bunsen burner. We use this in the lab a lot to heat things. I have this, it's called a heat-proof mat. It's called a heat-proof mat because we don't want anything to be on the benches. This protects all the benches and everything. Here I've got a little bit of chemicals. All right, I've got chemicals. I'm going to be burning off. I'll tell you in a minute about them. And I've got this acid. All right, and I'll tell you what this is for in a minute as well. And we've got this little thing. This is called the incubating loop. So we use this for our chemicals. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see farther from that way, but on top of it there's a little loop. That's what we call it, an incubating loop, okay? So the first thing that we need to do is to turn on our Bunsen burners. So you've got to be really careful. That's why I got my safety glasses on. There you go. So that is our Bunsen burner lit up. This is called the safety flame. We call it the safety flame because I'll show you why in a minute. Down here, there's a nozzle. What you can do, you can turn it around, and the safety flame becomes the heating flame, as you can see. Okay, it's very, very hot, and we call it the heating flame is because if you're far away a bit from it, you won't be able to see it. You've got to be really close up to it. Okay, so you've got to be really careful. If you're not using your Bunsen burner, you always got to put it back to the safety flame. All right, so we're going to be using it, so we'll do that. The first thing that we need to do is to put our incubating loop in some acid, all right? Why do we do this step? It's a very important step, actually, because we put it into the acid to make sure it's clean. We put it into the flame. Look, if you can see, there's different colors coming out of it because there's already something on this wire when we want to get rid of it. We want it to be pure before we put it into anything else. That way we know what color exactly the chemical is. All right, so give it a little bit of a shake to make sure it's cooled down. All right, so what we need to do now is we need to get some of our chemical hooked onto our incubating loop. Okay, it's very tricky, so just bear with me a bit. Okay. Sometimes it is very tricky, it's very annoying, but it's a bit weird, but there we go, got some on it. There we go, so it comes out into like a yellowy or pinky color on the sides, if you can see that. So that chemical there burns off a yellow color, all right? So what we need to do, so we know that is, so most chemicals that do that is probably our sodium. So what we need to do is put it back into our acid, give it a whisk, and put it back into here to clean it off, to make sure everything's pure before our next chemical. All right? Okay, give it a little whisk. Our next chemical. This chemical is a blue color. I don't know if you can see that far, but it's a blue color. Let's see if it burns off and it becomes a blue color as well. There you go. Got some of that. That was pretty quick. So it's a green. So it's a blue color, but when you burn it off, it becomes a green color. So that's copper. Let's see what that's copper. Copper usually does that. For some reason, it's blue, but when you heat it up, it becomes green. All right. So we put it back in our chemical. Want to get rid of it, make sure it's nice and pure. Let's burn it off. there's still some there. Trying to burn it off completely. All right. Okay, next I'll give it a wish. Okay, and our next chemical. Sometimes it's a bit tricky, got to really put your hand in there. There you go. Wow, that's just an orange as well. A little bit of red on the side maybe, and a little bit of a green. That's what you get as well. So that's how we try to identify a chemical or a compound that we have in the lab. So the first thing that we do, we need to narrow it down. So the first thing we do, we heat it up. So then we put it into one category, then we start to do other experiments to figure it out. Okay? I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.